What's up, everybody? A Sparrow with a Gun here from Sleepless Nights with another episode on Space Engineers. When we left off in the last episode, we kind of got everything established over here. Now, I'm not completely happy with this at the moment. I could probably fix this with some catwalks, maybe, if we decide to really leave this here, but I'll probably end up making like a medical room and kind of diversifying it a little bit. This is kind of just basically my starting point. It's just, this is our power system is better up here than it was where we were, so this is almost like picking up where we left off and just kind of resuming, but we're still kind of in that basic shack of a survival situation. We're not really in a great spot yet. But we have everything we need, so that's fine. There was a couple recommendations. One being a lot of people recommended me to turn this around, because this is why this is not working, is it only has two ports on the front and the back, and it's not connected to anything. Two things. One, I do think I was going off of the old way, because somebody did comment and say that Keen changed it from having 6 to where now it's 4. It's 2 on the back and 2 on the top, or 1 on the top and bottom, respectively. So I guess there used to be one here, and I think that might have been what I was thinking, is that it had it all the way around. But there is also another factor, and that's what I have dubbed, I don't know what the official term would be, but I've dubbed it the backseat driver factor. And don't worry, I'm not upset or anything. That's not really like a dig or anything like that. It's just that when you're watching something, it's a lot easier to pick up on all the little details. I have done it myself from watching tutorials of various different things, and I'll notice an instructor doing something wrong and you kind of want to point it out to them. But they don't see it, and it's because they're focused on what they're doing and that they're building and they're thinking and trying to record and talk and do a bunch of other things all at one time, and so it can become a little bit confusing. So that's basically another factor, that I think I might have been thinking it had all 4 around the base, but it's also highly probable that I was just focused on what I was doing and recording and talking and stuff and just completely missed it. Any of you that have watched my videos for a really long time, you know I do that a lot. There's a lot of times where I'll do something, and as I'm talking, you know, I'm like, man, where is that item? I can't find it, you know, and then somebody will comment, you passed it 6 times, you know, stuff like that. So it happens to me quite often when I'm recording stuff. But that's why I said I kind of see it in other things. Like, it's not just that I'm crazy absent-minded or anything like that. I swear it's not me. No, it is. It definitely is. See, at least like that. At least I had the presence of mind to realize that was gonna fall. So I'm not entirely scatterbrained. Now, what would be kind of funny is if I did the same thing. The other thing is that could have happened right there too. Now, again, a lot of people said that they saw it, but a lot of people, that was the majority of the comments on my last video, was turn the thing around. But this could have happened to me too. I didn't realize it before, but when I clicked this, I could have seen the assembler port and thought that was actually on the side of the oxygen farm, and thought that was going to connect. That could have happened. I could see myself seeing that too and thinking, oh, okay, that's connecting there. So anyways, that's the big problem there. Now, actually, now that I think about it, I just realized something about this. Let me double check and make sure I don't say something stupid first. Oxygen generator. Okay, no, it was because it was off. I noticed that these were red before, and I thought maybe like the conveyor systems that they're red if they're not connected, and they were yellow when they were, but no, it was just an on-off thing. So, never mind. Anyways, that should be fixed. That should work. Now, this is interesting, too. I just noticed this. This light is green, but this light is red. I could understand if both of them were green, but with 3 of them being red, I wonder if that's working properly or not. I think it said it was. And the moisture evaporator. Yeah, it does have an efficiency on it. So I guess these don't go green unless both of them are connected, maybe? But one being green and one being red kind of seems to indicate that the, at least part of it's working. I don't know. So yeah, anyways, we're kind of past our current goal at the moment. So for the last few episodes, our goal has been to migrate up here and kind of leave behind that other area. Actually, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, how are our batteries doing? I haven't checked them in a while. Batteries. These are on my ship. Fully recharged in 3 hours. 10 hours. Stored is 226. Now, this was coming from a dry state. These two had a bit of charge left in them, but I drained this one onto these two. So this is actually kind of our primary one we want to get going. But yeah, so now that we're migrated up here, I need to kind of find out what our next step is. A couple of people had recommended, when I had mentioned, like, where do we go from here kind of thing, there's a couple things that had been mentioned. One was doing kind of an underground base, and that's an interesting idea for two reasons. One, it's actually a little bit more difficult to do an underground base than in some games, like something like Minecraft, for example. Space Engineers is a little bit tougher to do that. It would serve a purpose, though, as far as if we turn the wolves back on eventually, a lot less of our base would be exposed for them to attack, so there is that. What I'm thinking is kind of doing a hybrid of, like, keeping these little hanging platform type setups, but then having certain areas with, like, a doorway that goes into the mountain. Something like that. I think that would be kind of cool. So there's that. That's one thing. Oh, another thing that was brought up was if the med station is completely hooked up, which I believe it is. It's on a conveyor system that's connected to all the other various systems. If I put an enclosed, supposedly anyway, according to the comments, if I put an enclosed cockpit on here, on like the top, I could get in it and manage my inventory and other things while your oxygen, energy, and hydrogen, because now that this is hooked up to this, it'll do that too, refills. Now, I don't know if it'll refill the bottles or not. It might. But even still, I'm doing inventory management at that point. So that's something I may look into. I don't know yet, because that is a lot of resources for a cockpit to go up there for kind of just a convenience thing. I can do it manually and save some resources at the moment. But yeah, so I think that's going to be the next thing, is I may do some off-camera work here in a minute and kind of try and start laying out a plan of where I want to go. At least a plan. Even if everything's like scaffolding and not completely welded together, I may try and lay out some kind of design for a base moving forward. Because I definitely want... I don't know how RP I'm going to go with it as far as like, oh, I need a living room over here, and I don't know how much of that I'm going to do. But I do want to spread this out a bit and have like a processing platform, a medical, a storage tank, kind of like we were doing down there, but instead of having this huge catwalk going up the mountain, I'm going to have little platforms and stuff off to the side, is what I'm thinking. And like I said, I may do a couple of basic ones here and then start working on digging into the mountain, because if I do exterior ones or external like this, I can tear them down later if I decide to move everything inside. Some things obviously have to be outside, like the solar panel. I mean, I can't, you know, in ship dock, well, no, ship docks I actually could put in a mountain if I dug it out enough. So there's little things like that. So I probably won't get too far with it today, but I will be working on it a little bit, and we'll see how far we'll get. So I will be back momentarily. Okay, so I'm back. I've been doing a little bit of work. Probably doesn't actually seem like that much, but it's taking me a little bit of time because I've been trying to kind of plan as I go. But, so here's my entrance into the lower part here. And I have a walkway going down here and then a doorway set up. And I think this doorway is going to lead us into a small hangar where we're going to store our drilling ship, I think. And the hangar, I'm hoping, will come out somewhere over in this area. hence the entrance is right here, but like the actual hangar door will probably be over here and lead into that side of the mountain. Now, I did notice one thing that I'm not too thrilled about, and I would like to have some kind of door or maybe an airtight hangar door or something sealing this off as well. So I'm not entirely sure how I want to tackle that. I don't want to use one of the sliders, I don't think, but I could do like one of these. For some reason, this will snap, like you'll see it on some of them, but not all of them. And I'm not really sure what that's about. So I have a couple of different options here. One is I could, like for example, I could do something really simple. Like this, take that out, and I'll have to reshape this. But I could put a door. Why can't I put that there? I have steel plates. What the heck? Okay, now wait a minute. That lets me place it over top of a ramp? Oh, you can't place it on a ramp. Okay. Hold on. How do I get you to snap down? Wait, that's not a ramp, though. That should be fine. What the heck? Oops. Actually, I didn't mean to do that. I forgot there was nothing there. I don't know why there's certain spots here. Oh, there it goes. Now it'll let me do it. Okay. So it's being very finicky. Now it lets me place that. Weird. So I have a couple of options in that, like, I could change the entire structure of this kind of thing, or another option is to just change the angle. So I've been using the ramps to get a more gradual, but I could put a slope here, and that would give it a bit... Hello. That would give it a bit more of like a downward kind of... Actually, that doesn't work too bad. I kind of like that. But I could also adjust this out here and bring it back one? Actually, let's try that, because one ought to do it, I think. So let's try that way. And we'll do... This guy goes here. That guy goes there. And then we need to break this stuff. And in theory, nothing will fall, hopefully. Okay, and then we'll need to take out that. And basically just move this back by one. That's actually fine where it is. So we'll leave that there. So I guess some of the finicky parts are actually where this is trying to snap to, not that they can't. It's that they're trying to snap to something else. Oh, it's gonna let me do it. Oh, I didn't think it would let me place that over top of the ramp there. Okay, so that works. That, however, does not. Let's just trim that down, because when we weld this together, you won't see any of that. So yeah, this lets us walk down here. Now, the only part I'm not thrilled about, but I can fix it with just like some, you know, steel blocks around this, and I don't think anything would stick out. It doesn't look like... What is... Oh, that's weird. There's like a giant... Oh, it's because I'm building into the environment. So that's the environment grid, I guess. That's interesting. I didn't know they did that. So let's just go ahead and map this out real quick. So you would do something like that. And then you build off of the top of these. Wait, where'd it go? So something to that effect. And I mean, you could change the shape and make it angular ramps or whatever, but essentially that would be like your doorway into the mine. Or not the mine, the mountain. And we can go further down this way and leave this as a hangar door, you know, whatever we want to do. That's the beauty of a sandbox game, is you can kind of do whatever you want. For the sake of... I can't block too many things off before I actually start welding them. Otherwise I won't be able to get to them. So I don't really need one below that, I don't think. So we're going to put one... Let's put one there. I can still get to that, but I don't want to do any more than that. We'll put 2 over here. And we'll kind of do the same thing, if I can get to it. Actually, it's not really necessary. It's literally just the perfectionist in me that wants to make sure that it's sealed. Because and we could do it a couple different ways, actually. We could even leave just door frames. And then, like, inside here, we could actually just leave drop-offs or add catwalks or whatever. We don't actually really need to, like, metallicize? I'm not sure what the word for that would be. Metallicize, that's what I'm going to go with. It's probably not right, though, so don't quote me on that. But yeah, we don't really have to have every single thing blocked off or anything like that. Actually, in fact, what I may end up doing is incorporating the pillar mentality from our other one of having like the interior pillar that goes down there. I don't really know, because I do want to make sure they're for looks. For example, if I were to let's say take these 3 out and then put well, no, that's not a good example. Let's say I put a pillar under this one right here, and then the rest of these weren't here. I guess it would still hold. I was thinking if wolves came along and ate the pillar that this would fall, but I guess as a station anyways, it doesn't really do that, does it? Oh yes, it does. If it's separated from the grid, it'll do that. What am I thinking? I'm thinking out loud. Don't pay any attention to me. I haven't thought that through. So yeah, I'd kind of like to do a pillar system. I just want to make sure I pick the placements correctly to where it looks right, but there's some other invisible attachment point that holds all the pieces together, because I wouldn't want parts of the catwalk and stuff to like collapse and fall down just because one of the pegs gets torn down. I don't think it was doing that over at the other base, because once again there was some other block that was holding it up. I think this would be a good block. I used the wrong example. So if I had a pillar running this way or something, and this wasn't attached to anything like but the pillar, and then the pillar gets destroyed or something like that, then, you know, that would fall, because there's nothing else holding on to it except for this stuff. So it's all just the checks and balances kind of thing. I just have to make sure that everything's attached and holding itself up, that's off the ground and kind of mounted into the ground, so that if something gets broke, you don't lose half of your catwalks. So this is kind of an idea that I'm working with, though, at the moment. I think I'm liking it. I'm leery of going any more finalized with it at this stage, just because I like to get feedback from everybody. This isn't really just like a me single player type game. Or world. It's kind of my YouTube one. So I would like to get everyone's opinion on that. However, in the interest of making progress, I do think I'm going to move a little bit forward with it. Probably, I have a save file, actually, that I saved before I did any of the terraforming. I just had the catwalk here, just in case, because I don't think, barring creative mode, I don't think there's any survival mode to replace stone and stuff. I don't think that's a thing. Now, one thing I could do, now that I'm thinking about it, is I could use my driller machine and make a door. What I think I'm going to do is actually just make it straight first and find an exit point. Okay, sorry about that. I actually forgot to turn my phone off. So while I was occupied, I went ahead and did some more digging. And I got a entry point over here. So basically all I did was I wanted to keep it even and straight, so I just kept placing blocks and then digging that direction so that I made sure that everything was lined up properly. Now that's not a very big ship, but I don't really want a small tiny hangar either. I'd like to kind of do some future-proofing. Now, I will admit, if we go up any higher, then let's say, what, 3? if we go any higher than that, it could impact the overall kind of look, essentially. Let me see where this actually comes out to. So if we went up to 3, we'd end up needing to make the hangar door kind of back here to make it work right. Or make it look right, rather. Not really work right, but to look right. And that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the edge point there that I made. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be the door, and that only leaves us, like, unless we went further back into the mountain, which is possible. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if that's the door, we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4. Currently, a 4-block hangar, which I don't know. That's not really bad right now, and especially since we could always go further back into the mountain if we so chose. I mean, this height puts us at 1 below that right there, and that's the lowest point of our base at the moment. Everything else goes up higher than that. So even if we went further back into the mountain, I don't really see a problem with that, but it would give us an extra little bit of height in case we decided to build a little bit of a bigger ship. So that's something to think about. And let's go ahead and see. Let's see if we can map this out a little bit further. So we would have this here. We know we're going to clear out a little bit of space. So this is kind of all I've really been doing, is kind of clearing out enough that I can place another one, and then standing on it and drilling until that's clear. Kind of thing, or relatively. And that's kind of kept my digging lines a little bit straighter. And these little guys, I don't know if there's any way to turn them off or not in the game settings or something, but they're kind of annoying, because unless I go into this screen and actually do like the cleanup thing, they kind of just float there for an extended period of time, which is kind of annoying. Mainly just because they prevent you from building. It's not really because they're doing anything per se, they're just kind of preventing you from progressing. Okay, so let's see, what is that? We've got... Now, I'm thinking this will be 1 over, actually. Let's go ahead and do that so that I don't get it mixed up in the future. So I'm thinking this is all going to be wall and door frame. And then the rest of this will be actual floor space. So we're going to run this along this wall, and that will match up the doorway, kind of thing. And that would basically mean that this right here would end up staying a wall, and so that gives you a little bit of a lip for an entryway, and then this walks into the hangar area, kind of thing. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So with that, what does that give us? A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? 6-block entryway. Let's do 7, and then let's make that the door frame. Let's see what that looks like. I say that because I like doing odd numbers in my buildings, because then it leaves you a good way of being able to say, like, 1, 2, 3, and then here's a center walkway, or a dividing line between 2 pads, or whatever. But when you have evens, you always have to do doubles, which is... If there was a bit more like a double block door or something, it wouldn't be as bad, but having to do, you know, 1 door over here in a block, or 2 doors together that don't really do anything, it's just kind of weird. So if I can, I prefer to make things in odd numbers. And actually, that actually applies to Minecraft as well. Like, all of the survival games tend to be of that mindset, with the exception being something like Subnautica that has more of a modular building style. Actually, if I really wanted to do this the way that I was thinking, I would have made this curved. Let's see if we can do that. So I need a corner here, right? That has to be a corner. And then we would come across this way, is kind of what I'm thinking. I did originally want it a little bit further back in, but this is kind of prototyping. This isn't where everything's actually going to go. That's right, because I even made a comment about it being smaller if we went further back in terms of your actual landing pad, and I'd have to clear out more of the front. So I'm kind of thinking that the actual door will be back here, not all the way out here. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. If that's too far, want to sink it back in a little bit further, we can do that. We'll get rid of these and make them the rounded edges. Oops, did not mean to do that. And like I said, I don't know if this is actually going to stay this way, so it's probably not really a big deal if these are all the rounded kind or something like that. It's just more for kind of how I see things in my head. Oh. Yeah, so I don't need to worry about that right now. Because again, this may even, we might even sink this further back in. And then of course we would do rounded edges this way if it's necessary. If it goes all the way back in, I wouldn't really worry about it. It kind of looks like we could get away with either this block or this block right here and connecting to that one. That could work in terms of a door that's more recessed but not a crap ton of terraforming. Because I don't think I like it this far out. I think I would prefer it to be further back in. But that let me lay out the floor plan out here so I can see how big the hangar is actually going to be, stuff like that. And we could always, like I said, this is scaffolding and planning, so we could always basically tear this out and go down a couple more, or bring it in, you know, bring it down with a ramp or two, something like that, going this way, and then turn and come back in if we wanted it lower, like the floor to be lower. I think that will work. Let me know what you guys think, but I think that will work for what we have, the scope that we're going for right now. Because I feel like if I do a bigger ship than this that could fit in here, it's probably going to end up being built like outside, and it's a capital ship that goes up into space or something. I don't really see me doing anything that can land in the base and being much bigger than this. If it can't fit here, it's probably not something that's going to land in a hangar. That's just my ballpark idea. I mean, I could be totally wrong as we progress and build things, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. Anyway, I do like the idea of doing it this way, though. I like the whole subterranean thing. One big thing moving forward that I need from you guys is feedback on, do we want to just do encased door frames and then leave the rest rocky like we're just being miners kind of thing and just kind of doing so. Actually, you know, there is the other option is to leave this scaffolding type stuff and not weld it together. So we could have fully welded like ramps and doors and things, but then leaving these to kind of actually look like a mine shaft, like it's holding up the stone and stuff. We could do it that way too. So there's basically 3 building ideas, if you will, that I'm going off of, and that's fully enclosed, where we've got steel walls all the way around. And you wouldn't really know that you're in underground unless you look out a window and there's just stone. Why you would put a window underground? No idea. Or doing most of everything being steel and then leaving partial scaffolding, or just leaving it open other than like doorways or something, just to... Because I can't leave this bare, like without putting what we put here as like a door frame. It just bothers me. I can't do it. Yeah, no. I was gonna say this one I could probably, but I was like, no. That's I don't like open gaps above blocks. That's what bothers me. If it's like this, where you just have a ramp and there's no ceiling, it's fine. But any kind of enclosed block like this, it just bothers me for some reason to be underground and not have something above it connected at the top. So that's my thought process on that. So anyways, yeah, I need feedback from everybody on underground building preference in architecture, and how far back to push this door, and if it's big enough as it is. I think it is, and I'm probably gonna shoot for this block. I think it would leave just a hair exposed, like to where the front edge would still be sticking out and not in the wall, but then within one block we can go back to being like grafted into the wall kind of thing. So that's what I'm thinking. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. In the meantime, I think we're going to wrap things up here. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and I will see you all next time. Peace.